Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathsala. I am Dr. Ajit Jaswal from Department of Anthropology, Pondicherry Central University, Puducherry. Today we are going to discuss about a module entitled Man's Place in the Animal Kingdom under paper Physical or Biological Anthropology. So student, let us see what we are going to learn from this module. First, we try to discuss kingdom Animalia and try to trace how man evolved in the animal kingdom. We also try to highlight the basic feature of Mammalia and its subspecies, and also study the salient feature of primates. We try to portray the difference between man's and other animal, and based on that we try to assign a systematic position of man. Let us give us an introductory information about this. All living organisms can be placed into one of the five kingdoms, that is plant, animal, fungi, nucleated single cell organism and bacteria. Taxonomically, animal kingdom in which man belongs to can be broadly classified into two groups. Either it is unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular, there is only one example, that is protozoa. In the case of multicellular, it is called as metazoa, and several invertebrates and vertebrates belongs to this order. Multicellular animals, though differing in form and structure, have some fundamental similarities. Among them, such as arrangement of cell, body symmetry, nature of coelom, segmentation, presence or absence of notochord, etc., and man belongs to this group. On the basis of presence and absence of notochord, a flexible internal rod that runs along the back of the animal, which acts to strengthen and support the body. Metazoans are further divided into two phyla. One is non-chordate or invertebrates, in which the notochord is altogether absent, and second is the chordate, in which there is a presence of notochord. Owing to the presence of notochord, man is placed in the chordate group. Phylum Chordata is further divided into three subphylum, that is Urochordata, in which the notochord is present in the larval stage, Cephalochordata, in which the notochord extends from head to tail region, and Vertebrata. In the case of Vertebrata, notochord is replaced by vertebral column. The presence of vertebral column in man is justify his position in the subphylum Vertebrata. This Vertebrata has been further divided into five classes: Pisces or fishes, amphibian, reptilian, apes and mammal. The nature of living and structure of the reproductive organ of amphibian stands away from the considering man as a member of that class. Whereas in the case of reptile is known to be cold-blooded animal, and that is sufficient to exclude warm-blooded mammal from this class, from the class of reptilia. The absence of feather would eliminate the idea of including man with the other member of the class apes or birds. Therefore, naturally we can say that man belongs to the class called Mammalia. Now let's see why man is a mammal by going through its characteristics in detail. Let's discuss about the characteristic feature of man. As mammals, especially mammals are the air-breathing warm-blooded vertebrates. They have a epidermal covering in the form of hairs. Presence of mammary or mammary gland is the most important feature which justify for giving the term mammals. Most mammals are viviparous, means they do not lay egg but give birth to the young one directly. Young ones are nourished from the blood system of mother through placenta before the birth and after the birth by breast milk of the mother. And the presence of sweat and sebaceous gland is also important feature. Presence of intravertebral disc in the vertebral column. Scapula of pectoral girdle articulate with the sternum by means of a bone called clavicle. They have a four-chambered heart and lungs freely suspended within the cavity of the thorax. The dentition is heterodont, that is teeth of different types, and are thecodont, that is embedded in the socket of jaws. The skull of the mammals were dicondylic, that is with two condyle, the two occipital condyle on two sides of foramen magnum in the skull. The RBC of the mammals are circular in shape and non-nucleated. They have an external fertilization. The class Mammalia is again divided into two different subclasses, namely first Prototheria and second Theria. Prototheria is the egg-laying mammal sharing much character with reptiles and birds. In fact, it represents a transitional stage between reptiles and mammals, example duck-billed platypus and spiny anteater. Theria, which give birth to the young one and has been further divided into two sections, Metatheria and Eutheria. In Metatheria, the placenta, which is the characteristics of man, is either underdeveloped or function for only a few days. Metatherians are those pouch-equipped viviparous mammals. They are known as marsupial, example kangaroo. The Eutheria are placental mammal in which man is a member consist of 9 orders, namely Edentia, Cetacea, Sirenia, Ungulata, Carnivora, Insectivora, Chiroptera, Rodentia, and Primate. Now let's discuss about one by one each and every order and explain their important characteristics. Order of Eutheria. First, Cetacea. Cetacea include the example of sea-dwelling mammals like blue whale. Next, Sirenia. They are the aquatic mammals. They have a herbivorous food habit in nature, example dolphin. Then Insectivora. These mammals consuming insect as their sole food, example mole, tree shrew. Carnivora. These are those mammals that live on the flesh, example dog, cat, lion, tiger. Next one is Ungulata. They are ground-dwelling, four-footed, hoofed mammal usually having horns, example horse, cow, buffalo. Then Edentia. They are those mammals whose enamel lacking mammalian characteristics. Some of them are completely toothless, example armadillo. Next, Rodentia, example rat, rabbit, squirrel, and Chiroptera are those mammals which contain flying habit, example bat. None of the above mentioned basic feature of Eutheria can't be acceptable feature of man, example that is man does not belong to those above mentioned order. Hence, it can be stated that man should belong to the only remaining order of the placental mammal known as primates. Primate has been defined as ungulates, claviculate, placental mammal with orbits encircled by bone, 3 kinds of teeth, at least at one time of life, a brain always with a posterior lobe and calcarine fissure, the innermost digit of at least one pair of extremities opposable, hallux with a flat nail or nose, a well-developed cecum, penis pendulous, testis scrotal, always 2 pectoral mammae. This definition was given by Mayward in 1873. Now let's discuss about some of the important and salient feature of primates. The important and salient feature of primates are as follows. In primates, the limbs are prehensile and adapted for arboreal life. Either the thumb or the great toe or both are opposable. All the digits of both the limbs have flat nail and sensitive touchpad with friction ridge underneath. They have well-developed clavicle facilitating free movement of arm in all planes during locomotion. They have mammary gland placed in the pectoral position. Primates have brain with well-developed posterior lobe and reduced olfactory lobe, as a result of which they have highly developed binocular, stereoscopic and visual convergence, and reduced snout and sense of smell. The primates provide only one offspring at a time. Nearly all primates have uterus simplex. The time interval between successive birth is longer. The orbits are completely surrounded by bony rim. Dentition is suited to an omnivorous diet. They have a longer postnatal growth. The primate possess pendulous penis. They have well-developed cecum. So, the important characteristics based on which we can classify any humanoids as primates are prehensile nature, opposable thumb natures, digits with flat nails, developed clavicles, mammary glands in the pectoral positions, brain with well-developed posterior lobes, offspring providing only one offspring, have simplex uterus, have a very small and have the time interval between the successive birth is longer. Dentition is for omnivorous diet. They possess a well-developed cecum. Primate diversity. Many primatologists gave their own opinion as to the classification of the order Primate, but one of the generally accepted, comprehensive and traditional classification is that of Simpson, 1945. According to him, the living primate may be conveniently classified into two orders, Prosimi and Anthropology. Prosimi, the name Prosimi is derived from pro means before, simians means ape. It is also called as half ape. Generally, the prosimi are fox-like muzzle elongated face, complete absence of post-orbital wall. Foramen magnum is further back compared to the other primates. The thumb and toe opposable. Lower extremities longer than the upper extremities. Almost all arboreal and nocturnal, and the dental formula is 2123. All these characteristics far removed man from this suborder. The three infraorder, that is lemuriform, lorisiform, tarsiform, example lemur, loris and tarsier. Further infraorder lemuriforms is conveniently classified into two superfamily of Tupoidae and Lemuroidea. The Tupoidea has only one family, Tupoidae, whereas Lemuroidea are classified into three families, Lemuridae, Endridae and Daubentidae. The infraorder Lorisiformis comprises of the single family Lorisidae. The infraorder Tarsiformis represent an important link between the two suborders Prosimi and Anthropologia, in having many features in between the two. Now let's discuss about the Anthropologia. In suborder Anthropologia include, besides man himself, a considerable number of more or less quadrupedal form of generally man-like body shape and head form popularly referred to as monkey and apes. Some of the features vary from Anthropologia are the lower incisor and canine do not form a tooth comb, the complete development of post-orbital wall, the strong reduction in olfactory apparatus, the short snout, the formation of nail on all fingers and toes. So, this suborder based on nasal character have two infraorder, platyrrhine and catarrhine. In the former, nostrils are round and separated by a broad nasal septum and are often referred to as broad-nosed monkeys, while the nostril in the latter are separated by a narrow nasal septum, comma-sept and pointing downward and often referred to as sharp-nosed monkey. The infraorder Platyrrhine has one superfamily, the Ciboidea, with only one family, Cibidae, called as New World monkey. The infraorder Catarrhine has two superfamily, the Sarcopithecodidae with one family Sarcopithecodidae and called as Old World monkey, and the other superfamily Hominoidea. As Hominoidea differ from lacking in external tail, cheek pout and ischial callosity, man stand apart from Seboidea and Sarcopithecodidae and belongs to Hominoidea superfamily with three families, that is Hylobatidae, example gibbon, Pongidae, example chimpanzee, gorilla, orangutan, and Hominoidae, example man. The member of this family had jointly been referred to as higher primates, having in a common and great many important characteristics. In the absence of premaxilla bone, presence of chin, and in many other details, man differ from anthropoids, apes, and are, as such, it cannot be included under either of the two families, that is Hylobatidae and Pongidae. Thus, the position of man is found in the family Hominoidae, forming one gene Homo and single species sapiens. Many has many distinguished characteristics by which he is separable from the other member of the other family of Hominoidae superfamily. So, though this traditional system of classification is still widely used and accepted, a modified and more recent classification was developed by Saint Hilaire in the late 18th century. Following this classification, the two suborders of primate are Streptorhine and Haplorhine, unlike prosimian and anthropoid of traditional classification. This classification is made on the basis of nasal characteristics. Members of Streptorhine have their nasal tip provided with necked and moist skin called rhinarium, while absence of rhinarium for Haplorhine. In the scheme of classification, all the members of infraorder Lemuriformis and Lorisiformis of traditional classification are kept under Streptorhine suborder, while all the members of infraorder Tarsiformis and suborder Anthropoidea of traditional classification are kept under Haplorhine suborder. Superfamily Hominoidea. The superfamily Hominoidea consists of three families: Hylobatidae, Pongidae, and Hominoidae. Hylobatidae example gibbon, Pongidae example orangutan, chimpanzee, gorilla are commonly known as apes. Hylobatids differ from great apes, that is chimpanzee, gorilla, orangutan, and human, in being smaller, exhibiting low sexual dimorphism, in not making nests, and superficially more closely resemble monkey than great ape. The family Pongidae comprises three genera, namely Pongo, Pan, and Gorilla. Orangutan live on vegetarian diet and very fond of fruits. Males are much larger than female. They sleep in the nest built by them. Cranial capacity range from 365 cc to 425 cc. Height of gorilla range from 5 to 6 feet and body weight varies from 200 to 250 kg. Cranial capacity range from 450 cc to 550 cc. They spend most of their time on the grounds, but can climb on the tree. Nests are built on the trees to pass the nights there. They were quadrupedal and sometimes bipedally. Chimpanzees vary considerably in size and appearance, but chimpanzees stand approximately 1 to 1.7 meter tall when erect and weight about 30 to 60 kg. Males tend to be larger and more robust than female. Cranial capacity range from 400 cc to 500 cc. Man certainly differ from gibbon, orangutan, gorilla, and chimpanzee in a number of above characteristics, thus placing him in a separate family having the following feature, that is Hominoidae. Now let's discuss about some of the important features of family Hominidae. The important feature of family in Hominidae are as follows. First one is bipedalism, orthograde mode of locomotion with erect posture, that is autograde. Bipedalism is orthograde and with erect posture is autograde. They can communicate each other through an articulated speech, slow and gradual rate of growth and development with prolonged growth period, longer lifespan as compared with those of other primates. Upper extremities are much shorter than the lower extremities. There is an absence of ischial callosities, relatively hairless body except on the scalp and certain specific areas of the body. They were highly rolled margin of ears. They have a prominent nose with elevated bridge and fleshy tips. They have an enlarged cranium and reduced facial portion. The cranial capacity of hominids ranges from 1300 cc to 1450 cc approximately. Placement of foramen magnum far anterior at the base of the skull for balancing the head of the vertebral column. Development of pyramidal mastoid process and styloid process. There is absence of there is a presence of well-marked linea aspera in femur bone and absence of diastema, smaller canine and reduced size of molar teeth. These features were clearly highlighting, explaining the context of hominid, why the hominids were altogether known to be highly evolved in comparison to all the other primates. This special feature have given the man a top place in the animal kingdom. Therefore, the position of man among the mammals can be traced in the following hierarchical position. That is, now let's discuss about the taxonomic position of man. Kingdom of a man is Animalia, phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, class Mammalia, subclass Eutheria, order Primates, suborder Haplorhine, infraorder Catarrhine, superfamily Hominoidea, family Hominidae, genus Homo, species Sapiens and subspecies Sapiens. So now we can call it as man as a Homo sapiens sapiens. So student, let's try to sum up some of the important points that we have learned in this module. Classification of animal kingdom is some of the fundamental features like level of organization, symmetry, coelom, segmentation, presence and absence of notochord. Of these features, presence of notochord and backbone justify man's inclusion in the phylum Chordate and subphylum Vertebrata. Out of the 5 taxonomic classes of subphylum Vertebrata, man is placed in the last class called Mammalia, mainly because of the presence of mammary gland and viviparous nature, that is, giving birth to the young one directly instead of laying eggs. Out of 9 Eutherian mammalian order, man belongs to the order Primate as they possess prehensile limb, opposable great toe and or thumb, flat nail, well-developed clavicle, vision with stereoscopic, binocular and visual convergence, pectoral mammae, etc. These are some of the important characteristics. Among the primate, man is placed in the suborder Anthropologia in conventional classification and Haplorhine in more recent advanced classification. Owing to the presence of procumbent incisor and canine, complete development of post-orbital wall, strong reduction in olfactory apparatus, short snout with no rhinarium, formation of nail on the finger and toes, etc. Owing to the presence of nostril separated by a nasal septum, downward pointing nasal nostril and elevated nasal bridge, Man is placed in the infraorder Catarrhine of suborder Haplorhine. In the infraorder Catarrhine, man is placed in the superfamily Hominoidea because of the absence of tail, laterally expanded chest, very large complex brain, arms longer than legs except man, more or less semi-erect or erect posture, etc. Finally, man is placed in a species called sapiens, genus Homo of family Hominidae, characterized by orthograde posture, highly complex brain, very less body hair, prominent nose with elevated bridge and fleshy tips, enlarged cranium and reduced facial portion, articulated speech, etc.